let's say robotics. You know what?
I'm Aaron Ames. I'm a professor of mechanical engineering. I'm here today to answer your questions from the internet. This is robotics support. Crude Bone says, I don't understand the benefits of these food delivery robots.
I don't either.
This is a job that could be automated, so let's have robots automate it. They obviously work in some scenarios, but they're not super robust.
They don't work in most scenarios.
I think the bigger thing they're trying to solve is a proof of concept demonstration to see if we can solve things like automated package delivery, last mile delivery, things like that. A lot of these are first steps towards trying to solve this more general delivery problem, which is actually a really hard problem. And by the way, putting these robots on the road has taught us a lot about both what works and also a lot of what doesn't. If you've seen these delivery robots, they get stuck a lot. They can hit things. They can fall off the road.
I've never seen them in person. I wonder how they work.
It does tell you how hard robots is. And I think that's sort of something to keep in mind when we're talking about humanoids and all these other things is look at the robots that are actually...
Dude, it's so fucked, dude. It's so fucked that the job market sucks already. Okay, so a lot of people take up gig work like delivery jobs and stuff, and the gig work is being done by robots now. Like, where is someone supposed? Where is a person supposed to go if they get laid off? And the gig work is also taken up by robots. Like, what are you supposed to do?
Actually in the field today and how they sort of still kind of fail quite a bit, and it tells you we got a lot of work to do. And by doing that, at least on the robotics side, we will learn a lot. From Paradise Nights.
What I'm curious about is I wonder if they take that data and I don't think that would go that way, but I wonder if they share data with like research institutes. I don't know, um like delivery robots going through like different terrains, experiencing issues, and that data can be used by, I don't know, like NASA to like make better rovers, I guess. I don't know, to like travel on different terrains. Why can't they automate hard jobs? That's what I'm saying. They are automating the most human jobs that require human touch, like art, music. Like, automate, like for example, protein folding. That is a good one, right? Humans cannot simulate protein folding, right? So you create an AI that is capable of analyzing protein structures and coming up with solutions. Like that kind of function is better. There are fields where AI can make our lives better. And like, what the fuck? Yeah, like, why are you replacing humans? Like, you make it do things humans can't do. Like, like,
WTFs with dancing robots. I thought they were supposed to be our slaves before they enslave us, at least for a bit.
Also, dancing reminds me, why are they bipedal? Why are they bipedal? Bipedal form is so inefficient. Like, human form is like bipedal, you're standing on 2 feet, right? Human form is very inefficient. There is a reason humanity suffers from so many back problems, because bipedal form is very inefficient. The only reason we have evolved to be bipedal is because we wanted to grab things. We want to grab things with our front limbs. So we became bipedal. But efficiency wise, it is very inefficient. So making robots that are tailored to the tasks they are meant to do is what's important. And when they put so much emphasis on human form, it is very obvious what they're going for. Okay, you're either going for a slave or an escort. You know what I mean? I'm trying to word it as cleanly as possible. Like that, that has to be your goal. If you're like pursuing bipedal form with so much zeal, like, why do you want to make it look like a human? Why is that your preference? What?
They're just partying. It's pretty good. Yeah, WTF on multiple levels. First and foremost, why are they having robots dance? First, there's amazing progress that's happened in humanoids. Among other things, backflipping, running.
Humanoid form.
Really, the behaviors we've achieved is in the last year or two has been absolutely remarkable. We figured out a very nice pipeline in which to get robots to do this. And the way you do it is you start with a human doing those actions. The reason why the dancing looks so human-like is it's a human dancing. It's really just
It's like it's repeating that motion. Yeah.
puppetry. Very beautiful and advanced engineering puppetry, but puppetry nonetheless. So a human puts on a mocap suit or you use cameras and the human dances, not me because I'm a very bad dancer, but good dancing human. And then you take that data and you get the trajectories from that data. That is the motion of the human over time. And then you train a reinforcement learning algorithm on the humanoid robot that basically mimics or copies that human data as much as possible with the morphology of the robot. And the end result is it dances like the person that was dancing. And as long as everything is just the way you expected it to be, meaning the environment's like it was when the human did the thing, we can get robots to do that now. But you asked about this, aren't they supposed to be helping us sort of before they party? And the answer to that is that we still don't know how to solve that problem. That's sort of the not very.
That is true. Like they make robots do all these things because they solve no real problem, at least yet. They solve no real problem. But if they don't solve any problem, they have no reason to exist. If they don't have no reason to exist, how are they going to how are they going to find investors? So all these things that they do, like robots jumping around and dancing and shit, it is to like captivate the investors. So they keep investing. So the company keeps existing until they find a problem where they can jam this solution into. Like how they're saying that this is a solution looking for a problem. That's what these are. These are all solutions looking for a problem, because problems don't exist right now. They're just creating these solutions that are in search of problems to fix that don't exist yet. For example, robots have existed for a long time. They have been used in automotive manufacturing, like lift a car chassis, rotate it around, like spray paint and shit. Like they have existed, but these humanoid robots, AI, generative AI, these are all like solutions looking for problems at this point.
Secret is that all of the hard problems getting robots to be truly autonomous and in our homes are still hard problems that are unsolved. The next question is from Project Guy 111. What percentage chance do you think will end up in a Terminator future? So I think there's two answers to this. One is, what's the chance that AI and learning will do bad things? And I think that probability is actually fairly high if we're not careful. And now's the time to be careful. If you trust AI to be the decision maker, if you're not.
Wasn't there, I think it was Gemini, right? That was telling someone to themselves when they asked for a question, because it was trained on Reddit data, and on Reddit people tell others to off themselves so often that it became like a response that it gave. Now imagine that as like a actual robot that's in your house that's trained on like data like this. There will be like safety procedures, but there is a non-zero chance that malicious data could corrupt it and make a choice that could harm you.
Very careful about having guardrails for that AI. It will make bad decisions. I mean, if you've ever used ChatGPT or LLMs, you see that it can produce really nice answers sometimes, and it's impressive, but then sometimes it's wrong. So we cannot trust AI. In my opinion, you can never trust AI, but you can use AI as a powerful tool. Just like if you search something online on Google, you get a lot of results back, gives you a lot of information, but you have to verify and double check. So I think if we put like AI in charge of
that's the thing. That is the most annoying thing now. Where do you double check? Because everything has AI. Twitter has AI, Reddit has AI, Google has AI. Where like the blogs are written by AI and which are researched by AI, which are researching articles that are written by AI. Like, where do you double check? I feel like at this point, unironically, Wikipedia has become like a reliable source for information, which might get replaced at some point. Because at this right now they have human writers and editors. They might start using AI at some point. Who knows?
Or something silly like that, then bad things will happen. At the same time, the second part of Terminator was it became sentient, right? It actually learned to think on its own. And I don't think we're anywhere near that. So I have no concern of
sentience is a interesting concept because it doesn't necessarily have to have sentience, right? It just has to act in a manner which would put us in harm's way. For example, imagine there is an all-powerful AI. You create this AGI that is the ultimate goal of all AI startups. They want to create the first AGI ever, which is like the omnipotent AI that can do everything, understand everything, etc., etc., etc. And then you tell it to find a way to solve climate change, right? You say, okay, what is a good way to solve climate change? And due to corrupt data or for whatever reason, it concludes logically that if humans did not exist, climate would get better. That is not sentience, right? It is just making a decision based on the data it has been trained on and making like a logical conclusion. Now, will that happen? Probably not, because there are like guardrails everywhere. If you're developing an AGI, you'll probably have some sort of guardrails. You'll train the data, etc., etc. I'm just saying that sentience is a very tricky concept because you can only confirm your own sentience, right? I mean, actually, that's what I'm saying. Because sentience is interesting because you can only confirm your own sentience. Because I know I am sentient, right? But I cannot prove your sentience. The same way we cannot prove whether an AI is sentient or not, because sentience is tricky. How do you prove sentience? If an AI says I feel sad, does it feel sad, or is it just saying sad based on the data it has been trained on?
Right now, AI is not intelligent. They say AI, artificial intelligence. There's no actual intelligence. It
Beep
has
boop.
no notion
I knew it. I knew it.
of what it's saying or doing. It is simply pattern matching at a scale we've never pattern matched before.
Yeah, but much.
I got too silly. What benefits do legged robots have over wheeled or tracked
Yes,
vehicles?
please tell me.
Legs are inherently beneficial if you want to operate in environments for which they're built for humans, and more importantly, where things are not flat. So wheels are.
I mean, yeah. But wouldn't like 3 legs or 4 legs be better than 2 legs? I want him to answer about the 2 legs bipedal model, you know?
Are massively
To plug
efficient in
in.
how you can move around environments.
Hmm. Hmm. I knew it.
As long as there's not
I had my doubts.
If you've ever been in a wheelchair or wheeled someone out around in a wheelchair, you realize very quickly how flat the world is not. Even what you perceive as flat, even in a city environment where there's sidewalks and everything, you realize there's curbs that don't dip enough. There's big breaks in them, and all those little things for wheels become big problems. They become sort of sticking points. And legs have the inherent ability to walk more robustly.
Yeah, this I understand. 4-legged, 3-legged, those I understand. But bipedal is something I don't understand, because bipedal is inefficient and hard to balance. Like a bipedal robot can lose balance very easily, right? For example, this is on 4 legs. Comparatively speaking, this robot will have a easier time maintaining its center of gravity compared to a bipedal robot, you know?
Multiple terrain types. Quadrupeds being one example. I mean, where your dog or your cat can go on 4 legs is pretty incredible. Bipeds, of course, are sort of the ultimate expression of mobility in human environments because the environments are built for us. So if you need to get into a small space and get up a small set of stairs or something like that, or climb up a ladder, only a biped can do that. Give a ladder to.
Why do you want that robot is my question. Why do you want a robot that can navigate human spaces? Unless what you're looking for is a robotic servant. You want it to follow you around and like serve you. Like that is the only reason I can think of robot. That's what I'm saying. Yes. That is what I'm saying. You know? You want either a servant or an escort. I see no other reason to be making robots in human form. You know?
To a quadruped, it's not going to know what to do. Give a ladder to a human, as long as they're reasonably healthy, they can climb
I don't know about that. Why it doesn't have to climb a ladder?
up that ladder, no problem. From Sammy.
You're telling me you're building a robot to climb ladders, really? That is your reasoning for making it bipedal?
514.
Oh no. What if a robot has to climb a ladder? The fuck?
What are robot dogs actually being used for? So we've actually come a long ways in robot dogs, which are actually
giant.
technically called quadrupeds because they have 4 legs. It's really amazing what's happened in the last sort of decade.
Yeah, quadrupeds I see potential in, because they can navigate terrains where humans cannot go, possibly. if you like give them even enough protection, they might in not, I don't know if they're able to go now, but in future maybe they can go into like radioactive zones, maybe look for survivors in rubble, you know. Quadrupeds I get.
We've gone from these robot dogs being in really lab environments and research environments to being things that you can buy at insanely low prices. The hardware has made immense progress. I think the practical use cases are still a little thin. They're thinking
Yeah.
about doing them as things like inspecting buildings, sending
Yep.
robots ahead in disastrous scenarios, right?
Yep.
And for that, legs are definitely better than wheels. The next question is from Levon21. Is there any attempt to put Chat GPT inside a robot? Yeah, there's lots of attempts.
Yeah.
So right now there's
They have done it already, I think in a lot of places. I think in Japan they have I think a cafe where it's not like a proper robot, but it's like just a robot bust that has like a mic and a speaker in it, and it's connected to an AI. So when you talk to it, it responds to you type situation. Yeah, which I get. I feel like it's in near future they're going to implement active LLM models in games so you can have like unique interactions with NPCs. I feel like those are like scenarios that could happen.
many humanoid robot makers that have that as a
Like you just form like some boundaries and give it a story, and depending on how the player interacts, you could have like a unique interaction, you know. At least unique dialogue. Even if the mission does not change, you might have a unique dialogue or conversation. It would be sick. Cyberpunk 2077. Who doesn't like a dystopian techno future?
player in their humanoid robots. And so the way to think about this,
What would be the first modification you would get in a cyberpunk-esque technological world?
generally is that as we're making robots do things, there's no one thing that's going to make them do all things. Right. So imagine your body, you have a brain, you also have a spinal cord, you have proprioception. So you
Yep.
sort of intrinsically have multiple computers running in your body at any given time. Like your spinal cord is a computer in its own right. And those computers run different algorithms. So at the highest level, at our
Here,
cognitive level,
same.
that's where
I would go with
LLMs
those
will sort of play a
blade metal
role.
arms then.
So
That
you
would be
want to
sick
ask the
actually.
robot a question and have it perceive something about the
I
environment.
think I would just get like I would just get my arms replaced like Jax. Like in Mortal Kombat, Jax has like robotic arms. Just that, like superhuman strength. Just
and make a decision.
just make my spine and my arms metal.
So ask
Just
the
strong, yeah.
robot,
Just
where is the red apple?
just an absolute
It can
brick.
use an LLM to parse that language into code, use computer vision then to detect all the apples on the table and return based on that an estimate of where it is. When you actually want to reach for the apple, an LLM is not going to reach for the apple. That's where traditional robot control will come in, or where reinforcement learning will come in, which is a whole nother type of learning that's different from LLMs. And those are what's actually running on the robot. Right? Those are what are making the robot go, just like your spinal cord is really what moves your body most of the time without you having to think about it. From I want to be
So
free
why
to
would you
are
make-
autonomous vehicles mobile robots?
Don't
Yeah.
feed into it.
You want to ask what the most advanced
Don't enable them.
robot is today. You would take autonomous cars
Go to a real strip club.
and mobile warehouse robots like Amazon has.
This makes much more sense to me.
I mean, if you want to ask what the most advanced robot is today, you would take autonomous cars and mobile
These I get.
warehouse robots like Amazon has.
It become human
Autonomous
reality. Yeah.
Cars, I think, are one of the prime examples of the farthest that we've pushed autonomy. So yeah, it's absolutely a robot.
I want autonomous cars everywhere. No personal cars anymore. Put all the cars into an AI network, and it's basically public transport. Okay, you get out of your house, get into a car, and it's just an automated network of cars, and it figures out the most optimal way to avoid traffic. So there is never a traffic jam again. It's public transport. Emissions are cut down. Beautiful.
It's an advanced robot that's a beautiful work of engineering. From V Knight Persona, how does
That is one of the most exciting things about AI. You could trust a plane to be controlled by a robot? Not today. Not today, but at some point in the future, yeah. Because planes are mostly flown by autopilot nowadays anyway, you know? Like at takeoff, at landing, and during flying, obviously there are like checks and balances. that pilots do, but autopilot handles a lot of like the back end of it. And as it is evolving, I would say not now, but like maybe 20 years, maybe 20, 30 years. Yeah, about like 20, 30 years. If there is like first completely autopilot, yeah, sure.
Roomba know what's what? I think what they're asking is, how does the Roomba have a semantic understanding of the environment, is the way we would technically phrase this question, that is able to identify things around the room that it sees and correctly identifying them. So basically, we've been able to take a bunch of
This is
training
a
data, a
proximity
bunch of
sensor, no?
examples of pictures on the internet, videos on the internet, and teach robots how to correctly identify those.
Yes, yeah, it's just computer vision and proximity sensors. It's not that deep. Roombas work on a very simple logic. When you get a Roomba, you have to set a perimeter where it has to like roam, and other than that, it has a proximity sensor and computer vision that it uses to identify like stuff and just go around them. It's not that complicated.
And train up basically this big
Roombas are basically the ankhs of robots. Yeah, basically.
neural network that takes images in and produces what's in the images out. And as a result, we can now correctly identify most things in an image. And so what Roomba does is simply, it has a camera that's perceiving those things.
It's very easy to train a computer vision model. You can train it on your own computer actually.
Things in the environment, it's checking with the internet based on these large models.
You take a neural network model and then you feed it a bunch of images about something and then tell it, okay, this is what, for example, if this is a pen, and I show it like a bunch of different pens and say this is a pen, and then I turn it into then I train it on those images, and then I show it a pen, it goes, oh, this is a pen, because I've seen like a shit ton of pens.
Identifying the things in the environment and using that information to tell you what's going on. The next question is from Fireplace Air. Why make robots humanoid shaped?
And there are, even if you don't have your own images, there are like data sets online you can download to train your own computer vision model.
When they could have 6 arms. Humanoid robots are the most suited.
Yes, please tell me.
Do the most things, even if they're not the best suited to do any given thing. Again, the world is built for us.
You keep saying that like that is supposed to make sense, but that does not make sense. The world is built for us, yes. What about it?
We've built the robot for something of our shape and our function. Doors, stairs.
You know what the other reason I can think of is, we build robots in human form because we want to play God. We want to create something humanoid that is not natural, that is something made from our hands. I think there's like an underlying tone of God complex there.
Narrow corridors, all these things. And if you want a robot that can slot into any scenario where a human can go, which is pretty much most scenarios we care about, not all, but most, you want somebody to start making you sandwiches at
See, describe me a function that is not A servant, B escort.
In your kitchen, or you want a robot that can be dropped into an existing factory and automate some tasks, right? I want to say all that as a preface to the fact that humanoid robots are not the best form for, again, a given application. For example, right now, the largest
Grand Warframe, true.
Robots is Amazon.
Don't even need that for you need a robot for grinding it. I think you can write a code to train an AI model that can just input keystrokes and mouse input into your, like, it's just a digital software that will input keyboard keystrokes and like mouse input to play the game.
Has over 1 million. And as
what I'm trying to get at is, everything you describe you need a human form for, I can give you an alternative that does not need it.
Result, one of the largest sector of robotics is warehouse robots. Robots with 2 wheels.
Yes, you want to displace human jobs and take over their jobs and give ourselves 24/7 working electronic slaves. Yes, that is what will drive our economy. Millions of people without jobs, which is funny because if you lay off everybody, how will they have money to buy the shit you're making the robots to make? You're using the robots to make. If imagine I'm working in your warehouse, I get a monthly salary. Okay, you lay me off, replace me with a robot. Okay, you're still pumping out shit, but now I'm without a job, without money. I'm not buying the thing you're making. So then eventually when you replace all the employees with robots and nobody has money, then who will buy your shit? Because nobody will be able to buy your shit. What's the point in humans? And that's what I'm saying. But that is not something they're considering. What they have in their mind are the billions they're gonna make in the upcoming 5 to 10 years. They don't care if the world goes to shit. That is what it is. Everybody driving for AI is seeing, you know how they in cartoons they see dollar signs in their eyes. They see billions they stand to make in the upcoming 5 to 10 years. Let the world go to shit. They don't care.
that go under
Is basically the model. There was a chairman of GM Motors, if you know. Okay, General Motors, sorry, GM. The chairman. Um, he basically did it, right? He figured it out that if you run the company in a way that profits you the most, right? And then after you're gone, the company can implode for all you care. And by the time that happens, you will either be retired or dead. So you won't have to face the consequences, right? He was, I think, one of the first people who did it. And ever since then, every single CEO, every single millionaire, multimillionaire, billionaire has figured it out. Let the world go to shit, accumulate as much money as you can, then retire or die. Because then nobody can do shit because you are dead. Because
these pallets.
I'm going to become a robo brain from Fallout. I don't know what
So
that is.
take
I
what
haven't
Amazon
played
does, have the
Fallout
robots
yet.
go pick up a pallet with the thing you ordered from Amazon, and it moves that over to
He inflated GM while he was the chairman. He hoarded all the money, and then he fucking died. And then the company went to shit. All they had to lay off so many employees. But the man who caused it all is dead. He doesn't have to face those consequences because he died. You know, so that every millionaire billionaire had that light bulb moment. A bulb went off in their head. They're like, ting, oh shit, we can just take money and die. Damn, I didn't consider it actually. You or you can just go to a different country. What are they going to do, follow you?
a human who's filling the order, so the human can
Just
just
like Walt Disney, right? I don't know enough about Walt Disney, to be fair.
stand there and they never have to move, and basically all of this stuff comes to them. Now,
If you're a billionaire, you can take all the money, lay off employees, then die or go to a different country. Easy. Same thing with politicians. You win an election, run the country into the ground, okay, into hell, straight vertical into hell. And after your term is done, fuck off to a different country, hide. You have enough money to live your life anyway.
you could theoretically have a humanoid robot do this, like push these big pallets around the warehouse, but the question would be why? Like these robots are very good at doing what they're meant to do, and that environment is designed to work synergistically with the robot. So you could have 6 arms on a humanoid if you had an application that determined that 6 arms would make a big difference. Maybe you have a firefighting robot and you find that 2 arms is not enough and you want 4 more arms because you want to hold the hose and you want to hold a camera and you want to hold the fire extinguisher. That's the great thing about robots, by the way.
That is, if you ever see a politician or a billionaire doing something insanely evil that they stand to benefit from, and then you're like, how could they do this? Because they aren't the one facing the consequences. The citizens of the country are people who face the consequences of their action. It's the classic capitalize the profit, socialize the losses. If there's profit in the business, it's all mine, right? They accumulate all the profit. But if there's a loss, if they're losing money, they will disseminate all the loss. Why should I be the one losing money? Because if a company, if you notice, when a big company goes bankrupt, the government will inject emergency funds to keep it alive because it is key to their economy. And where does that money come from? Taxes. You are essentially paying for the loss of the company. But have you ever noticed that when a company is doing well, you get a bonus in your account? No. because fuck you.
Make them any way we want. A Reddit user asks, when it comes to automation, how close is Amazon to actually automating most, if not all, warehouse work with robots? The answer is very, very close to parts, and then other ones are further away. So in terms of automation of warehouses, Amazon is by far
I'm
the
yapping too
leader
much,
in
dude. We're not even halfway
this
through the
domain.
video. I'm just
Amazon Robotics in particular has been working on warehouse robots, specifically robots that move around warehouses, to move pallets around, to move your order to a person filling the order for 20 plus years now. And they've really refined that process so they maximally and efficiently can move packages to the sorter, and then the sorter packages them up. So the question becomes, what remains? And what remains is then the part that the human's currently doing, which is grabbing these things off the shelf and putting them in boxes. And so this is much more an open-ended work where they're testing out solutions right now. So for that, you can use things called local manipulators, meaning you have robot arms, maybe on mobile bases, and maybe use suction cups or soft graspers, and you would pick up objects and put them in boxes. And you can do this with varying success levels right now, but you're not at the success level to truly automate that, where you don't need a person present for all objects. Because you imagine all the objects that go in Amazon boxes, all the different geometries and how they feel and look. I mean, it's a very complicated problem to automatically and autonomously load all these objects. So that problem's sort of open-ended. Kaleidoscope Inside asks, if you could commission a robot to be built with no financial barriers, what would your robot do? So if I had no financial constraints, I would try.
Robots. You know what ideas I have for robots? Cleaning sewage, cleaning up water bodies, cleaning up oceans, all the trash in the ocean. Just all the work that puts human lives at danger, you could automate them. If you want to replace jobs, replace those jobs.
To sort of
Deep water construction, deep water welding.
solve the exoskeleton problem. Like a billion could get it done. A billion, in my mind, could develop something that would eradicate the need for wheelchairs, essentially.
The way people throw around billion like it's a small number these days.
A Reddit user
A billion is 1,000 millions. Think about it.
asks,
Thousand
why do
millions.
most of the four-legged robots, see Boston Dynamics, have their knees look backwards?
That's how a lot of animals have them. They're just more efficient.
It's the inverted leg morphology. There's potentially mathematical advantage to having your legs like this. It's actually a twofold thing. It's not just that they're inverted, but that they're very light. So it turns out the way you control robots and the way you get really stable locomotion.
Well, you can look at horses, you can look at dogs, you can look at cows. All of them have their knees backwards. In fact, our knees are also very inefficient. Human form sucks. I don't know how we evolved into this. Humans are inferior. Biologically speaking, yes.
Robots.
Our form is very fragile. We have no exoskeleton. Our joints are weak. We are bipedal. The only thing going for us is endurance.
Having very light legs and having most of your mass centered in one spot. There's lots of mathematical reasons for that leverage that as sort of an assumption. And what that means is, as you're walking, if your legs are very light, you can place them very quickly to catch yourself as you fall. A lot of the robots were designed based on that morphology. And in addition, the inverted leg is actually what birds have, because birds actually have this.
Birds have them, horses have them, dogs have them, sheep have them. Front knees are a rarity in nature.
This type of morphology where they have very heavy, big bodies and very
I
light
think elephants have front knees, I think. No?
legs. And as a result, birds have some of the most robust locomotion.
No. They also have back knees. Yeah.
Out there. They can actually step down huge holes and then step up out of the hole without ever changing how their main body is moving. And so if you can get that kind of behavior on robots, they'll be very robust and able to go all the places where you want to take robots with legs. A Reddit user asks, what is so special about the Mars rover Curiosity?
The rovers are so cool.
I mean, what's not special about
Yeah.
the Mars rover?
Rovers are so cool.
Pretty much everything. It was on Mars.
They have like
I mean, the
insane
reality is
tech on
these
them.
Robots are incredible engineering feats. First, just getting it to Mars is special. And then the rover itself, all the rovers that have gone, Curiosity and all of them, they have these amazing engineering sort of gems in them that they built up.
Also, if you look at JWST, if you look at how it was made and how it was deployed, it was deployed in like a folded form. It had to go into space and then like unfold to like its full size so it can work, and then like establish signal with Earth. Imagine all that time. If even one fold was wrong, it wouldn't work.
Their suspension
They're like
system is
engineering
specifically built so
marvels.
that it can handle rough terrain. Their wheels are specifically built so they'll be robust to going
Mhm.
over
Look at all those wear and tear. It's like this is like a new rover, right? Look at all that wear and tear.
rocks and things like that, and you won't blow out a tire, right? So the entire structure is built to maximally be robust to this.
Dude, rover reminds me that there is a video that unironically made me cry when I first saw it. Okay, I legit cried when I first watched it. So this is a curiosity rover, right?
Sounds like skill issue to me actually.
Watch it. So this is curiosity rover landing, right? In 2022, I think it sings happy birthday to itself, dude, all alone on Mars. I'm like, oh, it's sad. It's alone. It's a birthday. So I'm like, this is.
You may have heard that the Mars rover
Fuck you, just show me the video. This video. Like, it's alone. Like, like it's alone on a different planet. Like, shit. Reminded me I would go to its birth. That's what I'm saying, dude. Woo. Almost teared up now. I got so sad when I first saw it. I'm like, oh, it's alone. Like, it doesn't have feelings, obviously. I hope it doesn't, but in my mind, I'm like, oh, it's alone. It's sad. It's alone on on its birthday on a different planet. I started crying. I'm like,
really harsh environment. I mean, there's the electronics which have to deal with this very sandy and windswept environment where there's dust storms. You know, there's power limitations. Just the power alone. I mean, the sun.
like it almost reminded me of like Wall-E. You know, it's like alone on a planet. Every day it shuts down. It gets up in the morning. It does its job.
Come through at the same intensity, so you have to have good solar panels that actually charge the electronics. The electronics have to be battery efficient, right? And then after all of that, you have to do science with it, and then of course you have to talk back with Earth at the same time.
If there was a live feed where I could watch just rover going around testing, like doing like soil tests and shit, I would watch it. Unironically, I would watch it.
Signal. I mean, the list goes on and on, but to build a system like that, I mean, every one of the rovers we've sent to Mars is an immense and remarkable engineering feat.
So when you look at a rover, it almost feels alive. I don't know how to explain it.
Just makes me happy as an engineer. The next question is from F. Krasuski 34111. Wait, how do autonomous cars even work? Like, are we trusting robots with our lives now?
Yep.
Not sure about this. It turns out that autonomous cars have gone through some things. About a decade ago, when
Can you get a humanoid robot for stream? Nope. Have you seen Her? The movie with like Joaquin Phoenix? Yeah. I'm 100% catching feelings and then getting depressed when it leaves me for a higher reality.
it seemed to be close, there were all these startup companies that formed, and they all tried to do autonomous cars many different ways. And then exactly what you're worried about happened. There were crashes, people got hurt, despite the fact that they'd already been working on making the system safe. But they really realized, and I think that the entire autonomous car industry pushed more and more to make sure there was really rigorous safety methods. So both in the
I think the only environment in which you can trust an automated car or a plane is if all the other cars are also automated and they can somehow communicate with each other. So they can, so it becomes predictable. You know the path of every single vehicle in the network. So there is no like surprise accidents happening. I think that is the only environment in which it can work. You can't have one or two autonomous cars in like in like an area where there are like a bunch of people driving. I feel like that way of autonomous, where it's like a network of cars that can communicate with each other, and they have like they have established paths, so they can predict where how they're gonna go to different places. I think that version of it is what I want.
Algorithms to keep them safe, and then also protocols around that, software architectures, etc., and then data to support it. And so in that way, there's a lot of evidence to show that autonomous cars, if they're currently deployed, have very rigorous safety standards, and there's a lot of data to back that up with the limited number of crashes that they've had. I'm not saying they can't get better, but after a decade, autonomous cars have done the hard work. A decade ago, we could have autonomous cars drive around on the street, but the difference between driving around on the street for a demo and actually driving around and all of a sudden other cars pull out, or a ball bounces into the street and a kid chases after it, right? Those corner cases kill, and safety kills. Meaning if you're not safe, you die, both as a company but also as a technology. The next question is from Time is Grand. Noob question: why does Elon Musk think LiDAR is not a good idea? I don't know Elon Musk's mindset, but in my mind, LiDAR is awesome. So you have really two
LiDAR is
sensing
good.
modalities in robots, autonomous cars, etc. I mean, there's many more, but in terms of perceiving the environment, the two most popular things are using cameras, of course, which is what Tesla
The thing with
does.
LiDAR is I think you can't see color, I think, from what I know. LiDAR gives you the 3D depth perception and everything, but you can't see texture. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've read about it.
LiDAR. Now, LiDAR sends out a bunch of laser pulses, and those bounce back and tell you what's around you. So it's sort of 3D radar, but now it's using lasers, LiDAR. Cameras, of course, have a lot of information present.
And cameras can see color, but they don't have like depth perception. So yeah, it's like pros and cons of both.
Tell you not just how far objects are if you can properly estimate distance, but what objects there are and where they're at in the environment. So you can get semantic understanding of the
The
environment.
combination of computer vision and LiDAR would be better.
Incredible job of precisely identifying everything in the environment with like a full 360 view, so you know exactly where all the objects are, but you have no idea.
But for an autonomous car, you don't need color, right? You need precise position. For that, LiDAR works better.
LiDAR is super effective on robots and on autonomous cars, because what you want to do is make sure you're not hitting anything. And that means anything. It doesn't matter if you're sort of hitting another car or hitting, the guardrails on the side of the road. You don't want to hit any of that
like
stuff.
Cameras give you computer vision to identify,
really robustly to do things like dynamic collision avoidance.
but LiDAR is more
Cameras give you the
precise.
semantic understanding. And so I imagine
Semantic understanding, that's what I'm looking
they're
for.
thinking at Tesla, generally speaking, is if they can solve the camera problem and make them as good as LiDAR, then this will extend to a lot of other application domains.
Yeah, that's the thing. That it is, if you can figure out how to use computer vision precisely enough that it can operate in autonomous cars, you can use that technology you have developed in like other products and other services you want to develop. Also, cameras are cheaper than LiDAR sensors, right? Because on camera, the computer vision you are training is the backend, is the software, right? But the manufacturing cost of a camera is very less compared to a LiDAR sensor. I think that's what their goal is, that they want to save costs and it's going to have other use cases other than autonomous cars.
But I think what I found on robots is you want to use every sensor you can get your hands on.
Yeah,
And so
use
for
a combination.
Safety critical applications, which Tesla cars could still improve on, to be honest, you want LiDAR in the
Yo, he's throwing shade on Tesla. You know what? Maybe I like him now. Other than the bipedal opinion, you know what? Yeah, let's go.
quickly and rapidly respond to dynamic changes in the environment and not have to deal with the latency that's present in a lot of perception based.
LiDAR is precise, but it does not give you semantic context, whereas computer gives you semantic context, but is not as precise as LiDAR. Also, it does not have depth perception that LiDAR gives you, because LiDAR is 3D, whereas camera is like a 2D frame.
Representations. We've got a Reddit user who asks, why is a surgical robot better than a surgeon? The reality is that robots are really good at certain things. They're very, very good at precise, small motions and doing those precise motions repeatedly again and again and again. There's also places where humans are infinitely better than robots. Basically, any place where you have to
Also, it's not
interact
like
with the
robots are like
environment in a soft
autonomously
and
doing the
tactile
surgery.
way.
They're still
And so
human
here's where
controlled.
actually surgical robots get complicated because our skin is soft, our organs are soft, our bodies are soft. And so as this robot is moving through your body to perform surgery, you need to be aware of those soft and sort of compliant interactions with the human body. And that's why a surgeon is in the mix. The surgical robot can do those precise motions while the surgeon operates the robot, and they get all this haptic and
Yeah.
tactile feedback while they're doing the robotic surgery, so they can
It's
take
not like it's not that the robotic surgeon that Da Vinci is one of them. It's not that it's better, quote unquote. It's that it does less collateral damage, right? Because you're trying to avoid as much collateral damage to human body as possible. So for surgeries where you will use a robot to make like a small incision, send like a camera equipment through, and then control it and do the surgery with like as less of collateral damage as possible. And I think I forgot like what procedures use those.
advantage of the precision of the robot while
Yeah.
still being able to do what humans do really well, which is operate in these complex environments. This is from the Balisrand. Why is it so difficult to make a closed folding robot?
In
The
fact,
problem
there
with
is where was it? I think in Germany, somewhere they are making surgery residents play CS:GO or CS2 or something. They're playing something, and apparently it's part of the training because it develops muscles apparently in your forearms that help you better control the surgical robot.
clothes is that clothes are really difficult to model. They move around, there's fabric. I mean, it's very difficult to handle. So a robot has to interact with something in the environment that we can't put in a computer easily. And so that's why this is a big challenge and why there's been a big push to use things like machine learning and AI to try to understand this clothes folding problem. That is, you train a robot with the humans folding clothes, like you teleoperate the robot so that it folds the clothes a bunch of times, and then you try to teach the robot that task without it actually having a model of the
Dude,
environment.
yeah, I've seen this in a video and it's so dystopian, dude. Let's see if I can find it. It is so dystopian. Look at this. These are all tailors, okay? And they work in a factory where they make like clothes for brands. You see this thing on their head? This is a camera that is recording their hand movements, and every single one is wearing one. And they are gonna take this recording and then train AI on it and then replace them. And they cannot say no because it is their job. You know? Okay, don't give me Sigma ass music. They are helping eradicate their own jobs. And because they have no other choice, you know, you can't say no to your boss. Thank you for the redeem, Philip. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's it going? How's it going? Acoustic, no. No. It's okay. It's okay. It'll be back. Don't worry. It shall be back, my friend.
Environment itself, but just these reference trajectories
How's the week going, man?
generated through teleoperation. The next question is from Surprise News 763. Whatever happened to the Neo robot? It's interesting because there was this big announcement that you could buy like a humanoid robot as soon as this year, in fact, and have in your
Yeah, I remember seeing this ad. Good. Okay, good.
Now, to give them
Ro-
credit,
Philip, do you want a robot? Philip, do you want a robot servant?
they completely were
Stream the one thinking. Ah, okay.
transparent about the fact that this robot couldn't
Yes.
actually do a lot
What do you want to do to your servant? SMH.
without teleoperation. There's even in the app, they show you how you will book time on the robot with the teleoperator.
What about a wig and makeup on my robot? Okay, dude. Oh, get you.
So this is interesting from a couple of perspectives. One
Freak
is
ass
it's a
chat. My
tacit,
God.
at least acknowledgement that humanoid robots are not
Specific
actually
thing. I knew it. I knew it.
deployed in your homes. I mean, that's the clear and obvious ramification. So the question is, why are they going to put a robot in the home that's not actually ready? I mean, it can't do a lot of tasks on its own, very few. The reason why is right now, the idea in the robotics industry is that the only thing that's missing is data. So we have internet scale data, and that's what made LLMs possible. So what they're betting on is if we can get sort of internet scale
that's probably
robot
not.
data,
Not yet.
we'll be able to
At
solve all
least.
these problems just like ChatGPT.
Not
solved the
yet, at
problems for
least.
language, we'll be able to solve in this other way. So the idea with the Neo robot is not so much that
Wasn't there a Rick and Morty episode about this?
robots and make money off them by having them
About doing it with the
teleoperate,
robot?
but rather, this is an amazing way to do data collection. You put all these robots in homes, and then people agree to let you teleoperate them in their home. They collect all this data, and then they're going to use this data
Dude, who wants to do that? That is so okay. So what he's saying is the robot is not autonomous. Someone is looking at you through the robot
without
and
teleoperation. There's even
controlling
in the
it
app,
remotely.
They show you how you will book time on the robot with the teleoperator. So this is interesting from a couple of perspectives. One is it's a
Your female individuals and yeah. Okay. Okay. Take a minute of just for putting a thought in my head. Universal, who knows? We have 78. 78 what? Won't they get at least 2? What? Who?
a tacit, at least, acknowledgement that humanoid
What the
robots
heck?
are
What do you
not
mean, what
actually
the
ready
heck?
to be deployed in your homes. I mean, that's the clear and obvious ramification.
Like
The
they thought, to
question
be
is,
honest, you also take a minute off. My God.
why are they going to put a robot in the home that's not actually ready? I mean, it can't do a lot of tasks on its own.
Freak
Very
ass
few.
people.
The reason why
Dictator.
Is right
Okay. Yeah, you get to rage bait, I get timeout. It's a fair
now the
exchange.
idea in the robotics industry is that the only thing that's missing is data. So we have internet scale data.
Never day supreme. Good. I like it. I like
That's
it.
what made LLMs possible. So what they're betting on is if we can get sort of internet scale humanoid robot data, we will be able to solve all these problems just like ChatGPT solved the problems for language. We'll be able to solve in this other way. So the idea with the Neo robot is not so much that they think they're
I'm
really
back. Welcome.
going to sell all of these robots and make
With
money.
new ideas. No.
No, 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 no. Wait.
Them by having them teleoperated, but rather this is an amazing way to do data collection. You put all these robots in homes, and then people agree to let you teleoperate them. So what they're betting on is if we can get sort of internet scale
Stealing all the data. Yes.
humanoid robot data. We will be able to solve all these problems just like ChatGPT solved the problems for language. We'll be able to solve in this.
Sure
So
thing.
the idea with the Neo robot is not so much that they think they're really going to sell all of these robots and make money off them by having them teleoperated, but rather this is an amazing way to do data collection. You put all these robots in homes, and then people agree to let you teleoperate them in their
Sure
home.
thing.
They collect
I will
all the
definitely
data,
let you.
and then they're gonna use
I will
this
definitely
data
let you
to
remote
train
control a robot
large
in my
models
house.
to determine how to make the robot do these tasks automatically. If you
Dumbass.
can get early adopters to sign up for that because it's cool, you'll be able to generate
It's
enough
not
data
cool.
to actually train
Somebody just being in my house watching me 24/7 and then no.
large models to
He did
learn how to
nothing wrong. What do you mean he did nothing wrong? He doubled down.
tasks. But I want to say one final thing is that I don't think it's going to work. I don't think that there's enough data you can collect in this way to solve this problem with just human.
He'll keep tabs
People
on you. What
tend
did
to
I do?
confuse
Give me-
LLMs and
nope,
text
nope.
with robots, which
Nope.
are fundamentally different things. In particular, the amount of data needed to understand how a robot moves, these trajectories.
I'm not buying it.
think
Nope,
about them
not
as,
happening. Not letting any of you
trajectories
watch
in the
me.
language of robots, and they include position, velocity, force, all this rich dynamic information, but they're so variable, there's so many degrees of freedom that it makes language seem simple. And in fact, the way to really understand
I don't
language
exist
evolution,
off
we
stream.
develop language in a very small fraction of our total evolution. Most of the time we spent evolving was to do these other basic things. things, right? Things that require motion of our body. That's why they say you only use 10% of your brain. What they mean by that is that a lot of your brain is being used for these very complicated motions that we do, right? And so the point of this all being is I don't think that data is going to work. I think that what we're missing is not more data. Not that it can't be helpful or help to polish things, but we need to understand physics as well. You need to merge physics with human data, and that's the only way you're going to solve the general intelligence problem on humanoid robots, because robots are not language. That's it.
Oh.
That's all the questions. Hope you learned.
When I agree with him, I agree with him on some points, disagree with him on some points. You saw me ranting. This, how long did it go? I think it went on for an hour. Dude. This is like a 20-minute video. A lot of rantage happened. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye. Bye bye, guys. Have a nice day.